good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this video. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. My name is Ems and I am here bringing you makeup and beauty content from time to time. I do not have a regular schedule. I kind of post as I can. Join me. You may learn a thing or two. I do try to give tricks and tips as I go. So today's video, I'm going to do a very quick, breezy, easy, and glowy summer vibe look. Now this look, although it's a summer vibe look, can definitely be taken into fall because I know we're right around the corner. For me, I don't really consider summer over until there's no longer 100-degree weather days. So I say we have another month or so why not? Alright guys, thank you so much for clicking on my channel. Without further ado, if you want to see me create this glowy summer look, go ahead and stay tuned and I will show you all my tricks and tips along the way. Alright guys, so I got you all zoomed in. You're like in my face now. So first I'm going to do, because it is an easier, breezier look, I'm going to go ahead and do my foundation first. You know that typically when I am doing a more intense eye look, which I do love those, I do my eyeshadow first like 90% of the time. Just because it's so much easier to clean out fallout, like the falling shadows on your face, if you haven't done your whole face makeup first. So anyway, so I did my skincare first, did my sunscreen, and I actually used this Tarte primer. This is the Timeless Smoothing Primer from Tarte, and it is a matte primer. So hear me out here. If you've been watching my channel, I actually talked some-ish on this a while ago. I was like, it's not one of my favorites, I hate it, I don't like it. That was true. However, I have found a recent calling for it and I really have been liking it. It fills in the pores really well. So if I'm looking extra white right here, it's because I put this primer on and it really, like, it's a white clay like substance primer. For summer looks, it works really well because it's just gonna, when you add the highlight and the glow to your face, which normally makes your pores pop out, it really reduces the look of those pores, so you just look glowy and beautiful without looking too porous. So after owning it for a year, I finally found a good reason to use it. I have been loving my Ilia foundation, and I literally like take it and just kind of like, I'm just gonna apply it kind of like I would skincare. Sure, you go under your chin. You don't necessarily have to go all the way down your neck, but it's really good to make sure that you go under your chin to the upside of your neck, because that is going to reduce that harsh line that sometimes you see when someone's wearing, usually it's when you're wearing heavier makeup, get that harsh line of demarcation. No one wants that, no one likes it, it's not sexy. Let's not do that, okay? So please bring it down just a bit. Blend it just like that. I'm not adding any more product, but I am pushing it down my neck to hopefully make it blend out better. And you'll notice, the thing I love about this foundation is how glowy it leaves me. However, because I use that primer, I'm not looking as glowy. However, I'm going to add a bunch of glow, and over time that foundation is perfectly glowy. It's just right now everything is so fresh, including that my matte primer, but in like an hour to 2 hours, oh, the skin is gonna look so great. Coverage on this foundation is not high coverage, it's super light coverage, so it's not really going to cover a lot of imperfections. You can definitely still see all my dark spots. Sometimes I will go in before I put this on and correct them a little bit and then put it on. Today I just didn't feel like it. I'm okay. I have been learning to love my imperfections. It's a thing, you know, I don't love them every day. Sometimes it bothers me more than others, but I'm okay with it today. Now I'm gonna do the eyes, and after the eyes, I'm going to finish the face. This is I never do all one and then the other. I always hop back and forth. Now I'm gonna go in with my MAC paint pot, and this is in soft ochre. I'm just gonna take this on a tiny little beauty sponge, and I'm going to prep my eyes with it. Priming the eyes is still necessary, even if you're going for a really soft, subtle, glowy look, just to make it all stay in place as long as possible. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into my Melt Cosmetics Rust palette. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into Rubbish. No, lie, I'm gonna go into Antique. So I'm gonna go into this color here, which is called Antique, and I'm gonna put that down as my first crease shade. So I'm gonna put that from here through the crease, and I'm gonna let it go a little bit above the crease, because that's gonna create just a layered, a depth to the eye. So the point of eyeshadow was always to create some sort of depth and definition to the eye. So even though we're gonna do a glowy, really easy look today, I'm still gonna do this step. You don't have to do this step. You can totally go right into just a really light sweep of some sort of glow, and you're good, but I'm gonna do it. So here we go. Okay, done. Corner, because this is where I want most of the color to be, and then I sweep it into the crease around the lid of my eye. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. It just depends on your eye shape, what works best for you. Whatever is gonna help you see the shape of your lid the best, that's how you wanna do it. I'm gonna bring you in, since this is a tutorial, and kind of let you see what I've done so far. So it's just a light sweep of color from the outer through the crease and above it, just a bit. Nothing too crazy, okay? So now I'm gonna take the color Tarnish, which is this shimmery shade right here. I have been trying all summer to find a good white nail polish that doesn't chip. They all chip, like within a day or two. It's crazy. It's nonsense is what it is. Maybe I should just not try white nail polish anymore. I'm taking this on a flat brush because I'm gonna pat it into place to make it as vibrant as possible. So I feel like a flat brush works best for this. This is actually from e.l.f. and it's one of my absolute favorites. Highly recommend this for shimmer shadows. I'm just putting that on the brush, loading it up, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna spray it with this setting spray, which is the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. So you don't have to do this. I have a fan going in here, so let me do this. I'm just gonna pat it on the outskirts here and move toward the center. So kind of starting over here, moving toward the center. And then I'm gonna, as I get to the center of my lid, I'm putting it up toward the crease. And so I am using tapping motions with a little bit of sweeping, but just tap, 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 and then sweep, 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 just slightly. That is on. I'm gonna add another layer. I'm not gonna spray it this time, just kind of to see the difference. I actually almost might like it better without the spray. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see that. All right, and believe it or not, my eyes are 80% done already. The theme of this video is summer glow, right? So I'm gonna just take my Laura Geller highlighter in Gilded Honey, one of my favorite highlighters, to take the other side of the same brush, so the clean side, well, cleanish, to just put this highlighter on there. Just really pack it on. Put that from here to here. Starting right here, and I'm tapping it. I'm really, really just tapping it. And I'm putting it all the way toward the inner corner. And then I kind of got higher than I wanted to, so no big deal. I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of do that. Other side. And now, because I just really want the inner corner to pop, I'm gonna take a really, really tiny brush. So this brush here, very, very small. I'm gonna just put that highlighter on there. And I'm just gonna literally put it right here, just like an extra little pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my concealer now that my brows are on. I'm gonna actually mix the Pat McGrath with the Jouer concealer. Pat McGrath is an LM11. and the Jouer concealer is in Creme Brulee. So one is just slightly too dark for me and the other is just too light for me. So I'm just gonna mix these together. I'm gonna start putting it right over my dark circles, the darkest part. That's how I've been doing it recently. And I change up how I do it actually pretty frequently. I kind of try different things. So that's just me. I don't really have a trick. I use all of them and every single one of them. If there's a concealer trick out there, I have used it. And let me tell you, most of them work. Just pick one you like. It's fine. So I'm gonna let this sit under my eyes for just a bit. So I'm gonna take the Tarte palette, Clay palette from Tarte, and I'm gonna use that to bronze. It has these 3 bronzer shades. I just like mixing them all together. Now that I don't have that much product on here, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down further, but not too far. Feel your cheekbone. You can feel that? So kind of go along there, just underneath it. That's my preferred contour area. You have to go with whatever you want your face to look like. Cheekbones are cool, man. I envy those who have real cheekbones. I feel like they make your face look a little bit more defined and maybe thinner a little bit. So anyway, and again, I'm not adding more product. I'm just kind of brushing this downward, and I'm gonna rub this underneath my chin area, right underneath. Not really going into the neck. It's kind of just adding a slight line of shadow right underneath. Anytime you feel like you go too harsh, just take a semi-clean foundation brush and just kind of pat around it. And that's really gonna help smooth out those edges of any type of contour. That way it looks less harsh and more, you know, natural. I'm gonna go back in with my small beauty sponge and I'm just going to pat this in. So what I like to do is pat, 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 pat. I'm not swiping. This takes a little bit longer than just kind of swiping it through, but if I have the time, I'm going to pat this in all the way versus swiping. Okay, so I don't know if it's catching on camera, but what I noticed is I probably let that sit a little bit longer than I needed to, and it dried out, and so for me, my under eye area looks just a little too dry, but that's because as someone who has super dry skin, that's the area of my face that always gets super dry and crepey, so I'd be very cautious with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this Weleda Skin Food, and I'm just gonna tap it underneath my eyes. Don't take too much, just a little bit, and I'm gonna tap it to add moisture underneath there again. And therefore, if I have any lines or things that didn't blend as well from the concealer because I left it drying too long, then this is gonna help that blend out. So I first put it on just with my finger, and now I'm gonna go back with that beauty sponge and just tap it. And again, I'm not swiping because I don't want to create a hot mess. I'm just tapping. But I've done this with various products. The key is you don't want to do too much because then you don't want to like make a slide of makeup, foundation, concealer. You just want to do a little bit. Voila. And now doing that, now my under eye looks refreshed again and not dry. So that's a big deal for me. If you have oily skin, even if it looks a little dry right when you apply, there's a good chance that by the time you're done with the makeup, you'll be fine. You'll have your own skin oils will take care of the problem. I don't have skin oil, at least not here. A little on my nose, sometimes and forehead. That's about it. So I'm gonna go back into the Melts palette, and I'm gonna go right here into this color, Ravish, this color here. I'm just gonna add a little bit to the edges. Just like a little tiny bit on a really small brush. Again, I'm realizing now I have some of my favorite small brushes. They just work really well. I've had them for years too, like years. I'm gonna take this and add it to the corner here. And I'm patting because I don't want to create fallout, because there's nothing worse than trying to get fallout off, especially on a shimmer shade, because then like the shimmer goes all over your face. You'll look like a fun stripper. No offense to anyone who does that for a living, just saying. So So I tapped it into the corner and then I'm just bringing it slightly into the crease, just a little bit, not a lot. I'm stopping right here. See, and now I feel like I have the dimension that I like to have around my eyes. I'm gonna take that same shimmer shade. I know, shimmer on the bottom. I say take the makeup rulebook you've heard and throw it in the trash. Like, makeup is fun. That is my thought on the subject, and we're just gonna leave it at that. So I'm gonna take that same color. No, lies, I am not gonna take that same color. You always wanna put, I like how I say take the rule book and throw it away, and then I give you guys rules. So, just to make your life easier, you always wanna put the matte shades down first. So I'm gonna take this tiny little brush to sweep the first shade, which was Antique, this one here. I'm gonna sweep that underneath the lash line. So just right underneath your bottom lashes, just take it and sweep it in. This is gonna help all that connect. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna flick it upward. There we go. Okay, so now I have that shadow that connects the top and the bottom. So I'm gonna take this side of the brush, which is kind of pointed, and I'm going to go ahead and grab Varnish. So this shade here, and then I'm gonna grab Ravish, which was the darker shade. And I'm gonna just kind of start here. And I'm gonna put Tarnish all the way underneath my eyes, from the inner corner at the bottom, all the way across. That's what I'm gonna do with that shade. There that is. You see how like glowy the eyes are starting to look? Just a very cool, like wet summer vibe. You know, it's a summer vibe look. So now I'm gonna go into Ravish, which is the darker glitter shade. And then I'm just gonna do this on the outer edge. I'm not gonna bring it all the way across this time. Okay, so I did like halfway. I kind of stopped right here. All right, so now you see how it looks deep? Like it doesn't look overly aggressive, at least I don't think it does. So now I'm actually going to take the white eyeliner from Melt Cosmetics. Very frank, this eyeliner is so-so. It is not my favorite light eyeliner. I actually think that the best light eyeliner still is from Rimmel, like $5, and it's freaking amazing. It's kind of a peach in tone, but it works really, really, really well. I've been giving this one a shot lately. I don't hate it. I just don't feel like it lasts very long. And again, this is a personal preference thing because some of you may want to do dark eyeliner, some of you may not do any eyeliner in the inner waterline. It's really a personal preference. The light waterline, what it will do is it's gonna open your eye up to look a little bit more round and a little bit more like just open. So that's what happens when you put white or a light color in the waterline. Opens the eye up. So just, it really depends what you want to do. Now I'm going to do the black eyeliner from Melt Cosmetics, which is actually becoming one of my quick favorites. I love it. It stays on really, really well. And I'm gonna tight line the top part of my eye to add depth and darkness to the top eyelashes. Okay, so you see how this eye already looks darker than this eye? You do what I did, which is accidentally get some on top, just kind of rub it in. You can use a brush or you can just use your finger. Just don't go too crazy and don't close your eye or else it's gonna get all over the bottom. When you do tight line your eye, especially the inner top, I highly recommend that you sharpen your pencil. Make sure that's as sharp as possible. I did the white one and then the black one, but it's fine. I'm sure it's gonna be just fine. I'm gonna bring you in. The eyes aren't done, but I just want you to see kind of the transitions between the colors and how the bottom looks. And then I'm gonna do something gross. I'm gonna do this because I want you guys to see how that black is in there. And although you may not at first think it makes a big difference, it really, really does intensify the eye. So I recommend doing it. My favorite blush was actually given to me by a friend. Thanks, Allie! Tower 28 is the name of the blush, I believe. That's the company who makes it, pretty sure. And this one is Beach Please Magic Hour. So I'm just gonna do it with my finger. I'm just gonna take my finger. It's a cream blush. I'm gonna start on the apples and kind of move outward. I think I put too much in, but that's okay. And so the reason I've been loving this cream blush is it really leaves the face super glowy looking. So now I'm gonna go back with the foundation brush and I'm just gonna use a tapping motion to tap this into my skin. I typically do a lot less than this. I went a little crazy today, and that's okay. Put it on the tip of my nose a little bit here. And now I'm gonna add some or a lot of highlight. So this is a brush I've been using for highlight a lot lately, Makeup Shack T67. So it's just a little brush. It's meant to be for eyeshadow, I'm sure. But I've been using it for highlight and I've been liking it, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go right back into that Laura Geller highlighter. I'm gonna really put it in there. And then for highlight, I like to kind of go up here and start bringing it downward. Just here, I don't like to bring it down too far. I mean, honestly, sometimes I do. So first I do the line and then I do circular motions. And then I bring it up the temple, toward the forehead, down. And this is like getting in bigger circles as I go through there. Because I don't want to have a harsh line of highlight, but I definitely want highlight to show. So no highlight. That blush really is glowy, so, and then highlight. The contrast without that blush is so, is a lot, but with the blush it's not so much, so you'll have to take my word for it that the highlighter is there. Now I'm gonna put it down my nose. So depending on your nose shape, I have a pretty droopy nose, so I don't like to put it at the end. I like to put it kind of higher up. So I'm putting it here, if you could see, and then I'm gonna just put it like up here. So I try not to put it right on the edge. But that's because of my droopy nose. Because we're doing super glowy look, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this. So I'm using the Morphe setting spray. Trying not to eat it since I'm talking to you guys. And then I'm gonna put extra right here. I put extra where the highlight was because I just really want that. I really want that highlight to sink into the skin because I don't want it to look freckly. I don't want it to look like a powder. I want it to look like my skin's glowing. Okay. So anyway, you put mascara on. I always do my bottom lashes, but if you don't want to do bottom lash mascara, then I would probably add a little bit of dark eyeliner underneath, even if you went with light eyeliner on top, just to really define your eyes. Okay, so mascara is on and you see what a difference that makes. So quick little tips about mascara. So mascaras do tend to flake sometimes, and sometimes when you're doing underneath the lash line, as you can see, it gets spotted underneath. So my recommendation for mascara is put it on. If it flicks or goes anywhere else, unless you catch it the instant it happens, and you can very carefully flick it off or peel it off and rub it in. Like if it was over here in the dark area, maybe I could have done that. Otherwise, you want to let it dry. Just let it dry on your face first, whatever flakiness, because I know I have a few. And then once they're fully dry, like in 5 minutes, then I'm just gonna dust them off. And then when it comes to the bottom lash line, again, once it's fully dry, then I take this and blend out whatever mascara stuck to underneath my lashes to make it blend with the eyeshadows that I have under there already, and you'll be fine. So that's my recommendation. Don't mess with mascara that flicked elsewhere on your face while it's wet, because you're just gonna create a mess. Just wait for it to dry. It's kind of been my go-to really simple lip routine recently. So I'm gonna take this color called Spanked from Fenty. But I'm not gonna put it all, I'm just gonna kind of tap it on because I don't want it to be too strong, because I just want a little color to the lips. And then I've been loving this Sephora L15. So L15 might be the color. It's just from the Sephora line, and it's just a gloss, or I don't know, like a lipstick gloss. I really like this color for summer just because it's really natural-ish and like breezy and shiny on the lips, and it's not like don't know, it just kind of works. I like to curl my eyelashes before the mascara, and I like to curl them after the mascara. Do that at your own risk because you don't want to do it when your eyelashes are wet because it will pull eyelashes off, and even when they're not that wet, sometimes it gets a little tricky. So I like to do it, just be safe, don't tear your eyelashes. Take my little eyelash wand and I'm going to curl my eyelashes again. I'm gonna go ahead and add a really light pair of lashes. So they're not gonna be super heavy or dramatic. I just want to add just like a little bit more. So I'm gonna add a teeny light set of eyelashes. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we are almost done. Literally the final touches. So remember I said you want to dust off all that flakiness from mascara, so just take a clean brush and just dust all the area where you saw flakiness of that mascara. And that's it. That's your final look. So, whoa, this fan is going crazy over here. So thank you guys so much for clicking on my channel. I'm gonna zoom you out a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this glowy, super breezy, easy summer vibe look. I'll throw some pictures at the end, and that's it. This is it. So super nice glowy skin, really glowy eyes, not too heavy, not too intense, a light lip, and you are ready to go. Hey guys, okay, thank you for bearing with me with this really weird end of the tutorial. So I had decided last minute that it wasn't glowy enough, so I wanted to add a few final touches, and I also felt like my eyes weren't deep enough. I just like my eyes looking darker, so I went ahead and what I did is I took the Kylie Cosmetics Fiji highlighter. So I did add more highlight to my cheeks. And then I added a little brow highlight, and then I actually added this to the inner corner till about here on the eye. So those were the touches that I added, and then I went ahead and took my black eyeliner from Melt, and I just went ahead and lined underneath my eyes. At this point it's kind of dark anyway because over time as I went about my day, because it's been about 7 hours since I originally shot this video, the top waterline ended up fading into the bottom. The top waterline is actually still really dark. This is what I mean by this Melt black eyeliner is really, really good. Like it really stays, especially on the tight lining of the eye. So those are the final touches that I did add before like actually ending the look. That you guys did not see on camera because it was dying. So I just want to come back and kind of let you guys know what I added. This Fiji highlighter from Kylie Cosmetics is pretty unbelievable. It's so reflective. Like, I mean, isn't that insane? Like, so freaking shiny. One of my favorites. I don't use it all the time just because I feel like I always want to be really gentle with it because I don't want to go crazy and to look like Tin Man. So I did add it here and to the eyes. This has been on about 7 hours, so it's not looking its best. So I'm really, really sorry about that. But hopefully you guys get the idea. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to spread love, not hate. Mwah. Bye guys.